Hello Science 30s. This video is about carboxylic acids. First of all, I wanted to go over the structure of a carboxylic acid and explain how the functional groups work. So we already know about that. This R here refers to as many carbons as exists in this molecule. We'll see how that works into the naming soon. And what we need to realize here, though, is the carboxylic acid is always going to be at the end of the molecule. So in the red here is a type of group that you already know about. This is the hydroxyl group. So this is a hydroxyl group, and above that is called a carbonyl group. Carbonyl group. And so we have this carbonyl group plus a hydroxyl group, which leads to the carboxyl. And that's how you need to recognize a carboxylic acid. You're basically looking for the double bond to an O off of one carbon and a bond to an O coming off the same carbon. It's important to realize that this is not an alcohol. So this OH group here is distinct from an alcohol because of this double bond of an O on the same carbon. And so this is not a hydroxyl group alone, and this is not an alcohol. This is called a carboxyl group, which makes it a carboxylic acid. So what we're going to do is we're going to get right into some examples here now. And some of the examples we're going to do, we're going to try a couple. We're going to first of all draw butanoic acid. So you can go ahead and pause the video and try that out if you want. And I'm going to go ahead and draw it right now. So butanoic acid, if we go down to our chart and we see here bute right there is 4 carbons. This H doesn't matter in this case. We're interested in just that bute part, which is the 4. So that means that there's 4 carbons that are going to be in this butanoic acid. And so we draw those first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off of the end carbon, doesn't matter whether you pick the first one or the last one. I just usually do the last one almost every time. And so there's there's a double bond to an O there, and a single bond to an O, and then another bond to an H. And instead of me drawing all the other hydrogens in, I'm just going to draw lines where there would be hydrogens, and there we are. That's butanoic acid. The next question is, what is the name of the following compound? And there we are. So take a minute. So once again, we want to count our carbons. We have 1, 2, 3 carbons. So those 3 carbons are going to be, if we take a look at our chart over here, 3 carbons is going to be prop. And whenever we're naming carboxylic acid, we just add the word oic acid at the end. And so this would be propane, but instead of propane, this would be propanoic acid. And there we are. The last one I wanted to go over was now we're going to see more of these questions coming up, but I wanted to introduce one of them right away. And this type of question here is looking at, okay, I'm going to give you a molecule you've never seen before. You don't have to name this. I may not even give you the name. I'm giving you the name of this one. This one's lactic acid. Now what I want you to do, though, is I want you to find the functional groups. So remember, the functional groups are anything that's not a carbon and a hydrogen. That are single bonded to each other. And so in this particular question, we have a couple of functional groups. So I see something weird happening up in this area, up in here, and I also see something a little bit different happening here. So I have an OH group coming off of the top here, but there is also a double bond to an O. So that means that this would be a carboxyl group. And then I also see just an OH alone here. There is no double bond to oxygen coming off of this carbon. And so this one would be the hydroxyl group. So this particular compound is both a carboxylic acid and an alcohol. It has properties of both of those. The last thing I want to go over is the uses of carboxylic acids. So the uses of carboxylic acids, there's quite a few of them. I mean, this is quite far-reaching for carboxylic acids, actually. So the uses, they're used in pharmaceuticals. They're used in pharmaceuticals. They are used as flavorings in food. They are used as cleaners. So in our homes, ethanoic acid, for example, vinegar, is often used. And so there's a lot of different uses for it. Solvents as well, and antimicrobials, and lots of other things that carboxylic acids will do. Thank you.